In order to defeat the Dark Lord, you must first collect and assemble all of the fragments of silicon.
All right, welcome to another installment of usually the Fragments of Silicon European interviews, but every now and again we get a entity that's like from the East Coast, North or South America that wants to talk during business hours, and that's the case this week as we welcome Vicky Way of Redstart Interactive.
Hey everyone.
Hello, how
Thanks
are
for
you doing
having
today?
us. We're doing great. How about you guys?
We're doing fine. You know, just anticipating the Thanksgiving holiday next week.
Yeah, same here.
hmm
Um,
Anyway, right. So let's get into it. We'd like to start by asking the people who either behind the game or representing the game or the studio and what have you. This particular question: what got you interested in video games, both on a personal and/or professional level?
so personally, for me, it started when I was 8 and I was walking through a Sam's Club and there was a pile of Game Boy Advances and Pokemon came with it. So I started with Pokemon, I think like red and blue
Mhm.
or yellow. And then I think it went from there. Uh, Definitely for me, I rolled through the handheld games for a while. I know a lot of our some people on our team started with like just computer games. Like do you remember like the Leapfrogs computer games for like educational learning? And then
Uh,
like
Mm-hmm.
Aware
yeah,
of them, yes. Like,
yeah. Um, And then I think it also, and then, yeah, we definitely have some NES players who played like the uh, all those Nintendo games from there. I actually didn't own an NES, so, which is why I'm being a little vague because I don't know what was on the NES. And then professionally, um, I guess like it started actually, it started a few years ago, and a bunch of us, we worked in and currently work in not games, and basically we wanted to make a game and sell it, so we just started from there, and we just did it, and like opened up Unity, stared at it for about 20 minutes, and then like took a look around, found Spine, and found all these other programs, and we started making a game. That's how Chip was born.
yeah, that's that's actually more common than you'd think. In terms of how people got into the industry, they just, they were working in other fields and just wanted to make games. You know, like, uh, and how long ago did you make this choice?
So I think the choice was made about probably in 2016,
Uh-huh.
and then we didn't hit go until essentially this year, 2020. We started the company at the end of 2019 with the plan to actually get it up and running. There was a ton of stuff that we had to learn how to do, like just like small business operations, and we just wanted to like pitter around in Unity and just get the lay of the
Right.
land for a few years while we were at our full time jobs and before we hit go.
Like, once that's an understandable perspective. It's like I won't say that every dev has had that kind of you know plan, but to each their own.
Yeah. We had a long term plan for it. Just knowing that it would be a large change from us. Like for several of us, we actually worked in finance.
Like,
it was a big turnaround.
yeah, that is a bit. That is a field nominally distant, but considering how important finances are to making video games, it's useful background experience.
Yeah, that's actually helped a lot.
Uh, so anyway, um, was there a particular reason why you wanted to create a video game? Like, this video game, what is the seed of inspiration behind Get a Grip Chip here?
Okay, so Get a Grip Trip, we were, after like just fooling around a little bit in Unity, we basically wanted to, for our first game, we wanted to do a game that we could feasibly finish in the first year, and simultaneously be fun. And this is like a long goal of just doing multiple games until we get where we want to be. But I guess you never get where you want to be because the industry is always moving. And so we found one mechanic that we thought was fun in prototyping, and we built a whole game around it. And so that was how Chip came about. And we also so the reason why it's a robot is we just wanted something that was cute and that would be widely appealing. So also animating human bodies is very difficult. So that's how Chip came about.
Yeah, those are some tried and true tactics, actually. Like using robot characters, that's been around for decades.
Yeah.
Because humans are difficult to animate in not just video games, but in actual animation as well.
Yeah. We're complex creatures.
Yeah. And, the NES was brought up a bit ago, but was anyone on staff familiar with the Bionic Commando games?
Yes. Oh my God, we get this all the time. Yeah. So I never played Bionic Commando, and I think someone on our team had played Bionic Commando,
Right.
and we did look at it a little bit, mostly to just look at the grappling. But yeah, it is. Yeah, there is some inspiration in there as well, and I think people that played it have said it reminds them of nostalgically of Bionic Commando.
Yeah. Yeah, I definitely can see this because that's kind of the game people go to when they see the grippy metal hook mechanic. It's not the only game. I'm like,
Harakawa does something similar, I believe, with a fishing hook.
The God, I forget how to pronounce it. The Murase Kawase or whatever.
That's the one I just said. Yeah.
Right. But that's well less known over here than Bionic Commando. But anyway, now in terms of the grip mechanic, is it just are you just grabbing to move, or can you actually jump in this one?
You can't jump, so you grab to move, and then when you're on the anchors, you can basically essentially launch, which is it has a similar feel to the jump. You can just launch 360 up, down, left, right, diagonally.
Yeah, it's and now we're getting into some of the subtler details of how this game is maybe more and less like the Bionic Commando game, because in the Bionic Commando you can't jump, but it's also that's much more combat based. This seems to be much more about maneuvering from platform to platform.
Yeah, it's purely just about maneuvering, and we don't have there's no gun either, I think, like Bionic Commando has. And you just move back and forth and mostly just dodging all the obstacles that come through. There are some later explosives that you can use your grapple to activate if you want.
I was wondering about that. If what we're seeing right now is like the main jump mechanics, or if there was more to come, and it sounds like there is a bit.
So the character stays the same throughout, but the gameplay world will change with each level, really.
And well, how does the gameplay change exactly from level to level?
So each level's really got a different theme around its mechanic. Like, the first one is just teaching you how to grapple, and then some levels there's like, swinging platforms, and then so the gameplay theme just always changes, and visually it'll change a little bit too. Like I said, there's drones later in the first level, so you gotta get around all the drones. Also, if there's any Archer fans, there's that one's called Danger Drones. Yeah, and like there's 5 floors, and each one's got a different visual theme for a very non-OSHA compliant factory.
Well, I mean, they are robots.
Yeah,
so...
OSHA doesn't apply to robots.
Oh, that's a good point. All right, yeah. It's canon now.
I mean, if you have intelligent robots, there might be some issues with robot rights eventually, but
right. But robots can be repaired in ways humans can't.
Also true.
But anyway, so is it all? How do I put this? Jumping obstacles, like are there boss encounters basically?
Yes. Okay. So each world's got a boss, and so the story of the game is Janet's been gone haywire, and she's like trying to blow everything up with her lasers. So the boss of each world is running from Janet. And so if you played Rayman Legends, do you know the chase levels?
I've played Rayman Origins.
Okay.
I'm vaguely familiar with it, at least.
Okay, so our bosses are just chase levels to the music. You've got like a tidal wave of fire chasing you because Janet blew up the wall behind you, and there's always fire behind walls.
Right.
And you basically got 2 options with a game where you don't actually have offense. You got just run from the boss enough, and you've got make the boss hurt itself.
Yeah. Basically. Yeah, so this was actually like a budget choice as well. So if we want to actually like go behind the scenes a little bit, programming bosses and animating them is quite hard. So we decided to keep it fun. We had each boss be like, essentially this is a little more passive, and you're being chased. And so you beat the world when you make it through your chase, and then you go to the second world. It's a little bit different for the final boss, but I don't want to spoil that for everybody.
Yeah. Now, are there any sort of collectibles in, the levels?
Yes. Okay, so there's 8 collectibles in each level. So what happened is, like, Chip and Janet, they work at, Roboco, and they box up battery robots.
Mm-hmm.
This is also canon now. The battery robots are what powers I don't know. America, your insert name of country. And actually, so yeah, the world is robotic. Surprise. And so they all got knocked down. The whole Janet blasted, and so now they're scattered all throughout the factory. And so to progress in the game, you actually have to collect about half the bots in each level. They're like hidden in little nooks, or they're like a bonus challenge that you have to get to.
Mm-hmm. And yeah, that makes sense. Yeah. And is there any sort of like a tangible reward behind all the collectibles, or is it just bragging rights?
Yeah, we have achievements in Steam, so you do get like rewards in Steam for collecting them, and then so it's also, I mean, you can always have bragging rights, and then it you need half the bots to actually progress to the next world anyways. But we actually have more rewards coming up related to collecting the bots in December.
So there's some post launch support?
Yeah.
And shifting a bit to some of the other, like the main mechanic again, was it difficult, like programming all the physics in Chip here?
Oh yeah. I think we worked on the game for about 9 months, and then we spent 3 of it building the character. And actually, I think, just like getting the movement right, and then lots of playtesting. We actually got really, really lucky. We finished the character as like New York shut down, so we were able to do live in-person playtesting this year.
Ooh.
And let's see, and the grappling was definitely really challenging to do, because we obviously, like with jump, it's so commonly used in games that like you can, and it's often quite studied as well. Mm-hmm. But with the grappling, we had to do that one. We knew we were going in different directions, so that was a lot of, like minute fine tuning. And then actually, I think like the last third of the project, we updated our entire character controller as well, which, like, kept everything the same. The I guess the numbers that affected like all the colliders were the same, but the backbone was upgraded, which added a lot of forgiveness, and it overall ended up making the game a lot better.
That's good to hear. And you touched upon the year of COVID and how it affected development, or how you managed to get under the wire there. Was it more difficult doing this when the lockdown started?
In some ways, like, we definitely had to look at a new strategy to doing playtesting, because that's actually been really our backbone, is the playtesting. By the time like we were halfway through, like we couldn't test the gameplay on ourselves. It's for us, by that point we were just like playing against our own brains. So we had to change our strategy, and just like we set up just like instructions with people on how to send us videos via OBS, and we would just hang out with people on Discord and just watch them play.
The miracles of modern technology.
I know, right? So having that helped a lot, actually. And a lot of the conventions did move online, so we were able to take advantage of those as well and just get the word out.
Right. And how many people are at Redstart?
Officially, we have 6, but the team was 8 as well. So we had 3 programmers, 2 level designers, 2 artists. Okay, so people overlapped a lot too. And then let's see, and then sound design and music.
Right. That's a fairly typical mix in all regards there. But what were your personal contributions to Get a Grip Chip here?
So I was the primary level designer, and I actually was part of the planning for just like choosing the character, going with the grappling. So most of the stuff. So at like how you progress from like point to point is mostly me.
Okay. And how difficult was it to come up with levels where you couldn't use the jump mechanic?
It was actually fine once I got around the fact that like I had to think about it, that I couldn't really look at other games in terms of how they worked exactly. I had to like essentially like think about looking at like what is the underlying purpose of like these game mechanics, like the like objects moving through. I guess the hard part is coming up with essentially like I think 20 something levels where each sequence is different. And yes, and then within each level, there's a lot of considerations that go in. So like the ability to go backwards, which we found through playtesting, everybody wants to go backwards, and then the multipath aspect. So there's like to get from point A to point B, there's usually 1 to 2 paths that you can take, and including like the path to get to the baby bot. So, yeah, well, this is hard.
Yeah, designing games is hard.
Yeah, but
I suppose on the flip side of this conversation, what aspect of designing a level did you enjoy the most?
Actually, like just seeing people play it. The point where of the game where we were watching people play in like several different ways and still enjoying it. It was like basically the final polish is actually like really, really fun. Because it's like minute changes, but they make a huge difference in the gameplay. So at the end, I was primarily just like moving objects like by half a unit or 1 unit to get the feel right based on like how I was watching players play on video. And yeah, so I guess the level of work to player satisfaction there is like really nice. So definitely, I really like the last bit of where you're polishing.
That's good. And in regards to, well, not so much level design, but a level designer, are there any plans to like have the level editor or mod support where the user base can create their own levels?
Yeah, it's definitely it's definitely an idea we have down. We don't have a plan or a timeline around it right now, but it's definitely there because a lot of the tools are so we have a lot of tools to handle level design. So level design is mostly just placing assets. We don't do programming to build the actual levels themselves.
No procedural generation.
No. Yeah, but
I'm not sure how that would wind up with a grappling hook game like this.
Yeah, but so this is just like our first game, and we just wanted to get the foundations of like a game built. A lot of these tools are going to carry over to our next game as well, and a lot of the tools are built for like slightly more long-term use, and something we really, really wanted to do, and we'll do probably eventually, is to add enemies. Like it's obvious there's no enemies in here, and you can do some really cool stuff with the grappling hook and anything else.
Well, I mean, I suppose a question along those lines is, would that be something that you would introduce in this game or a sequel?
It wouldn't be. It would be more like a sequel to the game. Definitely, just like a different story, and just like try to bring in some new people and give something new to our current players.
Right. And in terms of post-launch support, I mean, you mentioned a couple things here, but what else is coming down the pipeline?
So we've got a big update coming in December, just with more content. We're working on a console launch for early next year. And then we're going to add language support as well. So, okay. We'll keep people updated on our social media and Discord.
Let's see, and in regards to the consoles, are you launching? What platforms are you launching on?
It's not official yet, but Yeah, it's not official yet. Well, we haven't announced it.
Okay, so platforms TBA.
Yes.
Like, I guess in a rephrasing, do you hope to reach all of the major platforms?
Yes, we definitely do. We're eventually we're focusing on one right now. Actually, yeah, it's cool. Actually, it's cool. We're launching on the Switch.
That is
it. Yeah, that's what we're planning to do. Is we're in the process of launching on the Switch.
Yeah, that's not a surprise since the Switch is a popular platform, and just a couple days ago we talked to a developer who picked the Switch as their initial launch platform for their game. Yeah. So it comes up.
Yeah. And it's the audience is really good for Get a Grip Chip and this type of game. It's very family friendly, and we've been playing it on the Switch, and it feels more like a Switch game.
I definitely can see the appeal there. And are you handling the porting duties yourself, or are you contracting out for that?
Yeah, we're doing the porting ourselves. It's actually it's been fun, actually.
Okay.
Yeah, our programmers are really enjoying it, and I think when we saw Get a Grip Chip running on the Switch for the first time, they were like, "This is my childhood dreams coming true right now."
Yeah, that's good to hear. Not every game goes through that kind of smoothness in transition. But I suppose it helps that Get a Grip Chip doesn't look like it would give the Switch much in the way of problems performance-wise.
No, so that was one of the things we baked into the design, was just trying to keep it as simple as possible. We had an eye on the Switch, but we didn't officially plan it until this summer. But also it does help that with the Switch, Nintendo does have really good tools to connect. I think specifically they have tools built for connecting with Unity, so the performance has been fine so far.
Okay. And in regards to the computer, is this game Windows only, or is it on PC, Mac, and Linux?
Yeah, it's PC, Mac, and Linux. We support Linux.
Linux users are always pleased to hear about that. Very, very pleased.
Yeah. Do you guys play on Linux?
No.
Okay.
I don't think we would be able to do this effectively if we did.
Okay.
But we try to keep track of it just for people who do.
Yeah,
we do. It's nothing against Linux. It's just, even with all the Steam support and all that stuff, that it's just not as well supported as Windows is.
Well, it's the hardest one to actually make work properly because it has the least commonalities between systems of allegedly the same operating system compared to the other ones.
Right.
Okay.
Yeah. Because part of the design of Linux is that it's modular. You can customize it to be what you want, and you can make it work with.
Yeah. It's also open source, so.
Yeah, so people can tweak it.
Anyway, so I think I'll end my line of questioning by asking, you've mentioned other projects here and there throughout the interview. Do you have a concrete idea on what those would be at this stage, or are those still being fine-tuned?
So our other projects are those are purely in the idea phase right now. We just run an ongoing list of different ideas we want to try eventually. Some of them are really wild. I think one of them involves a kangaroo punching out I don't know, other things. But yeah, so they're mostly just we're just in an idea phase. We want to get through this next launch with updates, and then we'll move on to another project next year.
Fair enough. And I'll see if my colleagues here have any more questions for you.
I think I'm good.
Yeah, I think I'm
Looks
good
cute,
too.
though.
Yes.
Thanks. Yeah, Chip's a cutie.
Betty?
I think I'm good.
Okay. Right. So, Vicky, I want to thank you for taking time out of your schedule and being with us here today to talk about your game.
Yeah.
It certainly looks very compelling to play. Like, Petty is the one who's actually doing the gameplay here live.
Cool.
And we certainly look forward to what you got cooking up next, and we might have you on the program whenever your next idea coalesces enough for us to, actually talk about it.
Yeah, sounds good. We'd be excited to join. Thanks for having us too. Like, this was really fun.
No problem. Right. So the game is Get a Grip, Chip. It's currently out on PC Steam. I suppose another last question is, any plans to bring this game to other storefronts like GOG or the Epic Games Store?
I think, those are, they're, plans, but at the moment, they're not, like, in development right now.
Fair enough. Right. The game retails for $14.99 on its own. Its soundtrack for $7.99. And the Get a Grip Chip game and soundtrack bundle for $19.53.
Yep.
Be sure to pick up whichever you want to pick up today.
Yep. And I guess, like, something to add, I know the Steam sale is coming up, so we'll be partaking in that. So wish list it just for, 5 days from now.
Fair enough. Yep.
Yeah, I mean, to be fair, it's gonna go on sale in a few days.
Right. But we usually list the base price.
Okay, cool.
Because a sale may or may not be going on at that particular moment in time.
Yeah.
Anyway, so that'll about do it for this installment of Fragments of Silicon. We are going on break for Thanksgiving, but we'll be back on November the 29th with our usual review session. Until then, we shall wish you good gaming.
Cool. Thanks.